Everybody go back to the sessions.
Does anybody need a chair? We got more chairs.
We got plenty of chairs if somebody wants to sit down. I'm not going to talk that long. Representative Newton might. We thank you all for coming to Alva State. We're super excited about what's going on in the chamber. I think there's a lot of positive things. I feel more positive about Northwest Oklahoma than I have for a long time, especially about Alva. I think there's some things happening, things are moving, just feels better. Certainly now that we've got the pandemic hopefully behind us, we can move forward on to something else. I don't think it's my really job to talk, so I'm going to turn it over to Jody.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for coming today. I'll keep it short. Our gala is 6 days away, so if you have not got your tickets, make sure you come by the office to get them, because right now they're $20, but at the door they're $25. And we've got like how many tables? Like at least 30 tables. So we've got almost, wow, 10 more than we had last year. So we're so excited for that, and we'll just get started. Dr. Newton, you want to start us off?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I do want to make an introduction before I get started. This is Luke Vanderwerk here. He's here for represent Congressman Lucas's office. Anything you want to fill us in on the federal level?
It's an uphill battle right now, but hopefully in November we'll get it turned around. So.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to, and anyway, it's an honor to be back in Northwest Oklahoma. It was a smooth drive back in. It's cold. It's nice to be back. But just to give you a little deal, Senator Murdoch was unable to make it. If you have the term the ox in the ditch, well, with this cold ice storm and snowstorm and everything out in the panhandle, he had to be out there taking care of some cattle this weekend. And so he sends his regrets. I have his personal cell phone number. He gives it out all the time. If there's a personal question you need to ask him, be happy to do that. And I guess one of the things I would say, we do enjoy getting to see people at the Capitol. I mean, some of the things you guys think we just up there running bills, but a lot of times we're handling situations behind the scenes. We're working on rail parks. We're working on taking care of William S. Keys out here. We're working on situations families have with the state government. And so we do a lot of that too, because it's just not running bills. And so if you have a situation, please feel free to contact us. I've got cards. I've got my cell phone. It's on everything, because we want to know what you want, okay? Because we're there to represent you. Just to let you know some of the hot topics, number 1 and 2, as far as on the House priorities. Number 1 was infrastructure, trying to build the infrastructure and make sure that the money, the ARPA money, and all that is used properly. Okay? To go back on that, you say, well, you guys, you're going to have a buku of money this year. Yeah, with oil up, gas up, that's all right. Right now, we're close to $2 billion of savings. Okay? But when I went in 5 or 5 years ago, we were way in the hole, and we had to keep cutting and do that kind of stuff. They said to get through another one of those low cycles, it would take $3.7 billion to take care of that. So we just don't want to give it out. And I personally, and I don't know, probably, I hope a lot of you guys agree, there's a lot of fake money out there right now. And we're seeing inflation being high. And so I don't know that next year is going to be that good. And it's getting harder. And so we're looking at some of those issues there. But infrastructure, making sure that we're using some of the ARPA money and all that to do it properly. One of the things that came out this week is that we put, and I don't remember the number exactly, $50 to $60 million into nursing programs. And I was checking with them earlier if Northwestern has got any of that. I want to make sure that happens. Career Tech and colleges to get more nurses in the field. They're hoping to have, within 5 years, 1,000 more nurses in the field. And so there's a big emphasis there. So that's some of the ARPA money. The only ARPA money that's been spent, ARPA is the American Relief Progress, I don't know, it was federal funds. And we have $1.8 billion or $1.9 billion, and so far we've spent about $100 million. and I'm not on that committee, but I keep up with all that stuff. They did spend almost $50 million to find out on the broadband, where we need high-speed internet, where our weak spots are, and so there's a big study on that. And then we're going to come back and do some appropriations there because there's money for that set aside too. But that is one of the number one priorities. Number two priorities on our side is medical marijuana, okay? Medical marijuana is a medicine, okay? It should be treated like a medicine, okay? I know that our farmers, one of the things I've had in my district up around here is people going, saying they can't spray their crops because there's a medical marijuana, an open medical marijuana place next door. But that they don't want to be on the sensitive crops list because they don't want people to know where they're at. Well, that's not fair. So one of the bills we're running is to put them on the sensitive crops list. First of all, to increase the testing. I mean, how many of you guys know take a medicine that hadn't been tested? You don't. And this is a medicine, so it should be tested, should have testing, and those samples should be set aside. Right now, the way they do the testing on medical marijuana is that the grower brings in the sample. And I don't know how many of you farmers would love to bring in your wheat samples, pick out what wheat sample you want to bring into the elevator and show them. You know, I bet there wouldn't be any cheat in it, and they'd all weigh over 60 pounds, 60, right? And so that's one of the things we're working on that. I was running that bill, was asked not to run that bill because OMMA does not have the staff to do that. But that's one of the things we're going to get in place, that they get that done, and they are working to do that. So Senator Murdoch's got a medical marijuana bill, and I don't remember exactly what it is right now. I know I'm the House author, but I've only got 16 Senate. I'm author on 16 Senate bills, and I have 9 House bills that I'm running right now. So I'm having to concentrate on my bills right now. I've got 7 of them already through committee. I've got 2 more to go. Just to give you a little highlight on that, one of mine right now we're having problems with protests from some of the wind and pipelines and stuff, and that puts our schools and our county governments in a bind. And so right now in the state of Oklahoma, an assessor in Woods County cannot talk to the assessor in Alfalfa County regarding the appraisal price of what the appraisal they put on a wind energy or a pipeline or oil and gas. They cannot communicate between the 2 counties. I think it needs to be able to, I know it's confidential, but I think that's only makes sense. Any business, if you don't communicate between the people, you don't know what's going on. We have a third party that's hiring on with all these assessors from all these counties, and he knows of what's going on in all the counties, but yet we can't let the assessors communicate under that confidentiality agreement. And so I'm running a bill to allow them to do that. We right now, I know there's one school that has over $1 million deficit because their money's being held up by a tax protest. And some of this money's been held 3 to 5 years. We're having a meeting this week on all the bills that are running on that because we're handicapping our county governments and schools on getting that money to them. Because what the school is told, okay, you're going to have $1.8 million to run your school this year. And then the tax protest goes in and they find out they only got they don't have $1 million. Well, if you knew if you're going to run your school on half of what you had, it'd be kind of hard to find that out. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that we're doing it proper for the taxpayer. I mean, the oil and gas industry is the taxpayer, so we want to make sure we're doing that right for them, but also for our schools that we're not handicapping them. And another bill I'm running right now, I don't know, maybe I've been jealous ever since I was a little kid that Kansas kid could drive at 14 and I had to wait till I was 16. But I'm working on a permit to let farm kids to drive to and from the farm, town and to the farm on farm use and going to school and back at age 14. They still have to pass the driver's test and all that, but they would be able to go direct route. They can't go from Winoka, they can't go from, I'm trying to think of somebody that lived in Hopeton and went to school in Alva. They couldn't go over through Tacoma and go back to Hopeton. They would have to go straight down the highway. And right now, a 14-year-old can drive a 16-ton tractor down the highway with a 20-foot sweep, and that's safer than if he was driving in the pickup behind him. To me, it makes sense. Most of the people I've said that to, they said, "Oh, I thought it was already legal," or "Now they'll be legal." So I'm just trying to help some of our rural farm families to be able to do that, and so that's what I'm working on there. Another two bills that I'm running is right now, to change the Constitution of Oklahoma, it just takes a 50 plus 1 vote, 50% plus one person. I think if you're going to go back and change a constitutional thing, whether it's from us, the legislator, or you as an initiative petition, it should have a little higher bar. And so I'm pushing that we go that to 55%. That would be brought back to the people, okay? That would be brought back to the people as a vote statewide to raise that to 55%. Bonds, school bonds are 60%, and I don't think it'll, I'm trying to also pass the legislation and get people to vote for it. So I think 55 proves enough that people really want it rather than just 50 plus 1. So that's that one there. Another one I'm also running is some of our rural county EMSs are having difficulties making ends meet. And I'm working with Farm Bureau, so just so you guys know that I am working with Farm Bureau. We're looking at how to fund them. The bill that's passed committee would raise ad valorem tax from 3 mills, not 3%. You're in trouble. 3 mills up to a county could go back and vote in up to 10 mills. That would be a county decision. It would have to be a statewide vote to let this happen at each county, and then the county would have to come back and approve to raise that. But emergency medical systems are hurting, and the technology just keeps improving, and how do we put our citizens at risk if we don't meet their needs out there as far as on the EMS? And so that's one of the other bills I'm running. One of the things you're going to hear a lot about right now is grocery tax. Okay, you guys have heard about that one? Eliminating the grocery tax. If we as a state take away the tax, then you would lose any county or city tax on that. Okay, so we're not going to eliminate it. We're just going to give it kind of a, I can't think of the word right now, a credit or something. But anyway, it was just like we're going to set it off to the side. We're not going to take any of that part. So that then, I've already had a lot of my smaller communities call me and say, "Hey, our city makes that makes a big difference in our community." Some of these smaller towns, their grocery store is one of the biggest businesses they have in town, and so they don't want to lose that. Also, I'm trying to push that I think if we're going to take the tax off foods, it should be healthy foods. Okay? If you want to go buy a bottle of pop, I think you ought to pay tax on it. And the way we would look at that would be those things that are under the SNAP program. The smart foods, it would be like your fruits, your vegetables. Wouldn't the cinnamon rolls would not be included. But, the fruit, vegetables, meats, stuff like that. Things that are healthy. Our families with this inflation and stuff like that are being challenged to make the needs. So if we can reduce that, I think there's only 13 states in the union that do have tax on foods, and so we would be one of them. But that's something we're looking at right now. And I'm trying to think, what other issues you guys have?
So on the education tax for the nurses or the healthcare workers, is that direct funding back toward the VOTEC system and for higher education? For education, is it good for scholarships? Where are those funds going to go to?
It's supposed to go to the facilities to help expand their programs. And there may be some scholarships in there. I don't know the details on that one yet. That just came out this week, and that's all we know yet.
Where are you at on the certificates, the education certificates for charter schools to?
Vouchers? Did you guys hear? Our speaker said we're not hearing that bill. Now that'll be.
What's your stance?
Huh?
What's your stance?
I'm not in favor of it. I'm not. It hurts us in rural America. I mean, and first of all, who's going to take their voucher from Alva and go to Woodward, you know? I mean, the idea is it doesn't help us. And we don't get any state funding anyway. And so what are we going to get? We're moving nothing around. So, I mean, no, I'm not a voucher person. It's not going to help us in rural America. We did as much as I think we need to do, and you guys should shoot me. I think we did as much as we need to do last year, but we did the open transfer, okay? And that was maybe more of an urban problem than it was a rural problem. But they was wanting to push vouchers last year, and we said, no, we're not gonna do vouchers. So we did the open transfer, where a kid could move from one school to another school. And the reason they did that is because some of the schools in Tulsa and stuff like that were closed. The parents were wanting them to go to school. They couldn't. And so they allowed them to transfer. Now, each school can set a cap on their class. So in other words, if Winoka wants to have 14 members in their third grade class, I can't transfer my kids from Cherokee into Winoka to make 15 or 16. Now, if somebody moved into the district, they would have to be added. But then they can't add them from that. So it made more work for my superintendent, stuff like that. I've gotten chewed out by that. But anyway, just so you know where we're at on that. But yeah, that's where we're at. But no, we're not. The Senate, the one running the voucher bill on the Senate side is the pro tem, who's the head of the Senate. So he's running it. It did get through committee. I know that. I don't know if they'll hear it on the floor, but it did get out of committee. Your governor wants that. He thinks that the money, and I get the point that each student is worth this much money, and that school where he goes to ought to get that money. I understand that part, but it doesn't work in rural America. I mean, it just doesn't. It's because, first of all, we're off the formula. So what money are we sending? We're not. So, questions? Because I can think of other things as you guys ask questions.
When medical marijuana came in, as we voted that in, there were supposed to be enormous amounts of tax income from that. What's been the income from medical marijuana thus far?
It's higher than we thought. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know that was the medical marijuana bill that Murdoch's running, is that I signed on as his house author. There's money being sent to education, okay? Part of that excise tax off that is being sent to education, but there's also a lot of sales tax. He's wanting to use that extra sales tax that's coming off medical marijuana. And I wish I could give you the numbers exactly. There's too many numbers that run through my mind right now. But that extra money coming off the sales tax would be sent out to help fund this Medicaid expansion that was voted on by the people, that we expanded Medicaid. And Medicaid expansion is for people 19 to 64 that are healthy, okay? And what's interesting, the governor wanted to send this out to managed care organizations because they would do a lot better job. Well, your health department down there and all that's been taking care of those in that age group that are sickly or indigent and all that. They've been already taking care of those. And the ones that are under 18 and under, they've been taking care of those already. So it wasn't that big a step, and right now they're doing the job as we want. But we're concerned about the funding. So Senator Murdoch asked me to be his House author to use some of that sales tax money, which is, and I want to say it's high. I'm sorry, I don't wish I had the number right off the top of my head. but it was a lot higher than we thought it would be. But it's gonna be interesting what that's gonna happen in the long term, but use some of that money to help fund the Medicaid expansion. Right now, in Oklahoma, we have over 8,000 growers. And I don't remember, it's Arkansas has 8 growers. So we know some of that money's getting out, and a lot of the regulations, one of them wants to suspend all growers and not let it, put a moratorium on any more growers until the Oklahoma medical marijuana can catch up and do that. And so there's just, I mean, there's probably 35 to 50 bills regarding medical marijuana. Okay? So, but I wish I could give you that number. I want to say 60 to 70 million dollars, but I think it's higher than that actually.
Is higher education seeing any of it?
We hope to for next year. I might just say something, not a question, but just a thank you, Representative Newton. Met with several of our students on Tuesday. We had higher ed day. We took students to the Capitol, and I think you met with them in your office and then also at lunch, and we appreciate that very much. That's good for our students to get to see that process.
Yeah, it's great for them to come up there. And we've had a lot of visitors. We've had a lot of visitors. We started out day one with the abolitionists, and so we almost had an event during the State of the State, but security was very high. And the governor didn't miss a lick, and they were escorted out quietly. But anyway, but yes, good visitors are nice to have, and I mentioned that in my column to come out this week. It was great to see them up there because it's fun to. I mean, if you have not been to your state capital, you need to make a trip. Your state capital is beautiful, I think. It's just gorgeous, and the renovations are almost completely done. They're supposed to be completely done this year, but it is a beautiful place. I am blessed to get to work there for you. I really am. I feel that way. So, other questions? You're not going to let me off the hook that easy, are you?
Can you talk about the push to, and I'm not clear, is it completely eliminate the income tax? And if so, where do we foresee those dollars being made up?
Yeah, I know that the governor wants to get rid of the personal income tax, state income tax. I don't know. I mean, I want to know what you guys think, but if it doesn't come from income tax, it's got to come from someplace else.
My fear as a rural landowner is that it's going to come from
It's going to come from ad valorem. You know, I mean, that's where Texas, I mean, a lot of the Texas people are coming to Oklahoma, have a residence here, but work in Texas because the ad valorem tax is so much lower over here. And so you're going to pay the tax one way or the other. I personally, and I'll be happy to visit with you and about that, but I'm not a big fan of decreasing it any more than it is right now. We're one of the lower ones that have the tax, and we did reduce it 0.25% last year. But the idea is that we've got to have, you're going to pay tax one way or the other. And as a property owner, and in rural Oklahoma, large property owners, you're going to pay more taxes. And we're already hurting there, so we're just trying to do that. So I'm not a fan and not pushing that. But I mean, if you're an apartment dweller, that would be wouldn't be a big deal. But it's really going to come back in your rent anyway. So, but that's where I'm at on that. Yeah. Other questions? What would you like to see at the Capitol? What are you concerned? Okay, I'm gonna jump out here on a topic that's really hot right now. And just so we talked about it. Okay. Vaccine mandates. Your state will not mandate vaccines. Okay? I don't think government should control your body. Okay? That is not our job. Okay? And so I'm not in that favor. Now, we depend on what environments you work on. That is up to your business and your employers and you as a person to decide that. It's not the state's job to mandate or tell somebody they can't get a vaccine. It's not our job. I mean, you asked me, you want less government, more freedom choice? Either way I go on that, I'm adding more government to your life, one way or the other. So it's a hot topic. I hear, you're not gonna hear many bills. I know that I'm not laughing at this by any means, but the Senate chairman of the health committee, his son died from COVID. And so he's not hearing any vaccine mandate, that ones that will mandate for or against. And I know that we on the House, I'm on the health committee there, and we're hearing one on that. I'm on the A&B, I didn't tell you this, I'm on the A&B Natural Resources, chairman of that committee. We handle things like tourism, Department of Ag, DEQ, Water Resources Board, all those things there. So that puts me on the full budget, so I have an impact on what goes through the full budget. So that's some of my jobs. And then I'm on the health committee, and then I'm on civil judicial. So we handle the conflicts there. So anything else? I don't want to keep you here because I know you guys are busy. So I want to say thank you for allowing me to serve you. Thank you for allowing me to be up there. Anytime you have a question, I'm open. Call me up there. I'll be happy to give you my cell phone. My card's got my cell phone on it. So thank you again. I'm blessed to represent Northwest Oklahoma. Thank you. That's a lot shorter since Casey Murdoch went here.
Well, thank you guys. I want to introduce Jeremy Zeller with the Western Oklahoma Workforce Development Board. So if you want to.
Sure. That's a mouthful, by
Yes.
the way, and whenever you have to actually say that, sometimes I just like to call us wow. So, but with me also is Mikkel Robinson, and
Hello.
she's our business service representative. And basically, we're here just to kind of, we're actually going to spend the whole day here and visit some businesses, but a little bit about what we do and with Workforce. I'm the one-stop operator, so I handle the whole western region of the state, 25 counties there. And I'm really, I'm at the job centers, I'm with the Department of Rehabilitation Services, seeing what they need, and then we try to get people jobs, and we have a lot of programs that help with that. Training to get them into the career that they need. Nursing is one of the things that was brought up. That's something that is one of those high demand jobs that we're focusing on, as well as CDL and welding, I believe,
Welding.
as well. Yeah.
Yep. There's quite a few. We have a long list of in-demand occupations that we are, really supportive of. Nursing's huge. It's huge. So I was happy to hear that, because I'm like, that's one of the things we can step in and help with. We do help people pay for that training if they're eligible for our program. And we're also federally funded through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So if you hear people say WIOA or WIOA, that's where our funds come from, and it was designed to help the workforce and get people into careers that maybe have barriers to employment, which we can get into that more if you're interested. We can set up an appointment, because we could spend a lot of time too speaking on all the stuff we have available.
Yeah,
So.
we're giving you the general of what it is, but honestly, we have a focus on youth, which is starting from 16 to 24. We help with low income. We help with the single mom. We help with the high school dropout. We help all the way up to those over 55. So there's just a lot of options there. So we have the adult program, we have the youth program, dislocated workers. So there's starting to be that transition, because the previous 2 years, the job centers really were dealing with just unemployment itself. People were coming in, doing their claims. Now we're really slowly gearing back towards the actual job seeking. There's a lot of businesses out there that are looking for employment, needing people. There's way too many places, especially if you've noticed in the fast food industry itself, that are just having to shut down because they don't have the people. And we are trying to bring them back in. We have some obstacles and some speed bumps because marketing is not allowed. So this is how we market. Wait, we're coming here, we're getting out there, we're going from town to town, telling what we can do. We have a lot of great programs. The one that I just always like to bring up is the Wex Program, which is work experience, and we can get those young people to learn soft skills. So if you own a business, we can get people, and we pay their salary. So it's really just free employment that you have, and that's something that we are pushing. And hopefully we can progress them into getting them into the career they want, get them into the training, which we would pay for, and then maybe transition that to on-the-job training. So it's just kind of a good example of that whole transition and that process. And like she was saying, we're federally funded for that, so we can hopefully get some people some jobs and good, careers going for us. Do you have anything to add?
I have so many things I can add, but like I said, I want to extend the invitation to have a one-on-one with us so we can kind of explain more fully in depth what that work experience, what the on-the-job training means, and what we can do to help. Like he said with the marketing thing, I have a degree in mass communication, so I'm really trying to push the marketing. I've got us on social media, so if you're into that, we'd invite you to follow. There's other things that we can do for the workforce as well. So I'm a business service representative, so I work with the businesses directly, and I can get you labor market information that would usually cost you money, but I can get that for you for free. That's part of the services we provide as well through those funds. We also do labor market or labor law posters, for free, so don't ever pay for those. If you need those, you know a business that needs that, please reach out to us. The job centers have them. We can get them to you as well. Like I said, we'd love to speak with anybody that's interested in learning more about the program and how, if you know people in the community that you think, hey, this person we can help. Another one, he didn't mention homeless, justice involved. The dislocated worker, if people have been laid off and they have a layoff letter, that would qualify them to come into our program, and we can help them say they want to change careers. We can help them get that training to do that. And we're focusing a lot on the trade part. They see the need is there, that we haven't been pushing trades as much, and so we need nurses, we need things like that, and that means CNA, LPN, some of those lower ones, not just the RNs, and we can help you get them trained and get that going for them. So anyhow. And
also some of, our top priorities are actually our veterans and the spouses of the veterans, as well as disabilities. And we are partners with a whole bunch of different groups. So we help in the farming community as well, our ORO specialists. So we know somebody, if you're like, hey, I think we may need some help here, we probably know that person to get you in contact with if we are not that person ourselves. So. And that's pretty much what we have in the general part of it. We can talk to you for 4 hours if you want to stay.
Well, we won't do that to you, but if you are interested, hit us up before you leave, get our cards, and we can schedule time to speak with you fully, because we'd be happy to do that.
And I worked at the Department of Commerce for 17 plus years, and I will say the Capitol is beautiful, and you should visit it. And I have seen the renovations of the whole progress as it goes. I just recently moved to Woodward, so I started the workforce job in October. But if you do get a chance, definitely go out there.
All right, well, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to report? Luke, did you want to say anything else?
I'll say a little bit,
Yeah.
but most of you may know or don't know, but Congressman Lucas is the ranking member of the Science Committee right now. He also sits on the Financial Services Committee. Kind of his big things right now, which it's Democrat-controlled House and Senate, but the big things he's trying to get pushed right now are just on the Science Committee is funding to compete with China and Russia. China's pretty far advanced technologically, And so he's trying to get some programs revamped and just get all the funding that they can pass through there in a bipartisan way to compete with them. And then on the Financial Services Committee to just try and stop the reckless spending that we've been seeing the last 2 years. It's time for that to end. And getting fiber, rural broadband to everywhere in Oklahoma. I know there's probably a lot of places out here that you can't get Wi-Fi in your home or get good service. So those are kind of his big pushes right now. And it's, like I said, it's an uphill battle with it being democratically controlled. So hopefully in November that'll get turned around and we'll start to see some real change and things will start looking up. So Congressman's glad to serve you guys and he's proud to have you guys represent him. So thank you.
Thanks for coming. Anybody else have anything they'd like to report to the group?
I remind everybody that we're banking it for the Woods County Senior Citizen Center. They always need help, and this is going to help their transportation area to get their patrons to and from appointments and make sure that they get the food that they need in a timely way. So it's a pretty good division. Started out pretty strong and slowed down, so keep visiting any of your local banks, and almost all of them have pledged to match a portion of what their customers are donating at their location. So it's a pretty good deal.
Anybody else?
Yes. Next Thursday night, there's an event in Alva.
Yes.
Please come. I'm coming.
I'm not.
Right back to the city to be here,
I'm so glad that you're
I
going to be
want
here.
you guys to hope you'll be there because it should be a great event. So
Yes, thank you. It will be. And Bankett, we have a nominee of Bankett, Dr. Cunningham. We have Arden, the Tech Center. Anybody else in here that's nominated? Am I missing anybody? So, I mean, quite a few of us already in here, so it should be a great night. I'm excited. It's casino themed, so.
Jody events, just at the university, play tonight at 7 and tomorrow afternoon at 2. We have doubleheader ball games. Tomorrow, 1 and 3. Tuesday night is a Masterworks concert of our vocal with symphony accompaniment at the Presbyterian Church. So lots of events.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else? All right, thank you guys so much for coming. We won't meet in March for the spring break, so we'll meet in April, and there'll be another legislative one at the homestead. So, thank you guys.